This is the brachioradialis. The brachioradialis is on the flexor side of your forearm, and it flexes your elbow. These are reverse easy barbell curls. They work your brachioradialis. This is your pronator teres. It pronates your forearm. These are seated dumbbell wrist pronation. They work both your supinator and your pronator teres. This is your flexor carpi radialis. It flexes your wrist and abducts your wrist. This is your palmaris longus. It flexes your wrist. This is your flexor carpi ulnaris. It flexes your wrist and adducts your wrist. This is your flexor digitorum superficialis. Flexes digits 2 through 5 and flexes your wrist. This is your flexor digitorum profundus. It flexes digits 2 through 5 and flexes your wrist. This is your flexor pollicis longus. It flexes your pollex. These are wrist curls. They work your flexors and your forearms. This is your extensor carpi ulnaris. It extends your wrist and adducts your wrist. This is your extensor digiti minimi. It extends digit 5. This is your extensor digitorum. It extends your wrist, extends digits 2 through 5. This is your extensor carpi radialis brevis. It extends your wrist and abducts your wrist. This is your extensor carpi radialis longus. It extends your wrist and abducts your wrist. This is your extensor indicis. It extends digit 2.
Oh, yeah, picture.
This is your extensor pollicis longus. It extends your pollex. This is your extensor pollicis brevis. It extends your pollex. This is your abductor pollicis longus. It abducts your pollex. These are reverse wrist curls. They work your extensors in your forearm. This is your supinator. It supinates your forearm. These are seated dumbbell wrist pronation. They work both your supinator and your pronator teres. The deltoid is in your shoulder. The origin is the scapular spine, acromion, and clavicle. Insertion is the deltoid tuberosity of the humerus, and the action, it abducts, flexes, and extends the shoulder. These are dumbbell lateral raises. These work your deltoids. This is your triceps brachii. It has 3 heads. The long head. Origin is the infraglenoid tubercle of the scapula. Insertion, olecranon process of the ulna. There's the lateral head. Origin is the superior posterior lateral humerus. Insertion is also the olecranon process of the ulna. Then you have your medial head. Origin, lower posterior humerus. Insertion is also the olecranon process of the ulna. Action, all 3 extend your elbow. These are tricep pushdowns. They work all three heads of your tricep. This is your coracobrachialis. Its origin is the coracoid process of the scapula. Insertion is the center of the middle diaphysis of the humerus. The action, it flexes your shoulder and adducts your shoulder. These are flies. These work your pectoralis major and your coracobrachialis. Biceps brachii has two heads. There's the short head, origin being the coracoid process of the scapula, insertion, radial tuberosity of the radius. There's also the long head, origin, supraglenoid tubercle of the scapula, insertion, radial tuberosity of the radius. Action, it flexes your elbow and supinates your forearm. These are dumbbell curls. These work both heads of the bicep brachii. This is your brachialis. It is underneath your biceps brachii. Its origin is the anterior of the humerus. Its insertion is the ulnar tuberosity, the coronoid process of the ulna. The action is it flexes your elbow. These are hammer curls. They work your brachialis. This is your pectoralis major. It flexes your shoulder, adducts your shoulder, and medially rotates your shoulder. These are your typical push-ups. These work your pectoralis major. This is your pectoralis minor. It depresses your scapula and protracts your scapula. These are chest dips. These work your pectoralis minor.